can't hear you. I have no idea. I really don't know. I know. I'd like to call the October 28th meeting to order at 6:30 approximately. Could I ask Pastor Matt Wolf to please come forward and do our invocation?
Thank you very much. All right, let's pray. Almighty God, what an honor it is to be here tonight. I want to thank you for your many and abundant blessings. Thank you for life itself, for the measure of health, for our willingness to answer and fulfill our unique callings, for sustenance, and for friendship. We have an incredible opportunity here in Monee to remain unified through what really has been a strange year. I pray we continue to be involved in useful work and bear responsibilities on behalf of the public. Thank you for loving us, not because of who we are, but in spite of our flaws. We know that your gracious nature knows no bounds. So with that in mind, and following the example set by Paul in the 13th chapter of Romans, we do want to pray for all the leaders here tonight and those who are unable to attend. Pray that they're able to promote peace and order and justice. We pray for Mayor Pop and all the village officials of this assembled council. Grant them wisdom and discernment as they lead amid the conflicting interests and issues of today. We pray you give them a sense of the welfare and true needs of our people, a keen thirst for justice and rightness, confidence in what is good and fitting, the ability to work together in harmony even when there is honest disagreement, and of course personal peace in their lives and joy in their tasks. I pray for the agenda set before them today. Please give them an assurance of what would please you and what would benefit those who live and work in and around the village of Monee. These men and women have a tremendous responsibility, Lord, to help shape this community. And we also know that this is a challenge, but every challenge presents an opportunity. How to respond in all situations, God, in victory, defeat, and all points in between. We pray these things in Jesus' holy name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor Wolf. Welcome. Would you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call, please.
Trustee Blue?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Here.
Trustee Horn?
Here.
Trustee Razik? Trustee Wilson?
Present.
Trustee Udris?
Present.
Okay, we'll move on to open to the public. Agenda items only. If anyone has something they'd like to say about the agenda, please step forward. If not, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Could I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I make that motion, Mr. Mayor.
A second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Wilson?
Yes.
Trustee Udris?
Yes.
Trustee Blue?
Yes.
Okay, we'll move on to the clerk's report. Denisha?
Thank you, Mayor Pop. First, I want to give a thank you to everyone that came out and helped for this past Saturday when we had our free box giveaway in the village parking lot. It was a really great turnout. We were able to give over 1,200 boxes out to the community, as well as over 500 cars that came. Everything was great. Everything stayed orderly. Our Department of Public Works, DJ, he hammered down and helped us out. University Park, their Department of Public Works director came and helped us, and which is actually a resident of Monee. Pastor Kevin, Trustee Blue, the animal ministry from my team, and our neighbors and friends, everyone came out, and it was a really great time. I didn't know that there was such a need in Monee. Many were asking, when is the next one? And they were Monee residents. So I did let them know, well, if I know of anything else, I'll make sure to let them know. I had another truck that was given to me for this weekend. Since we have early voting, I'm sending it to University Park. So I will post that flyer for anyone in the area so that they can go if there's a need, and that will be at 91 Town Center Drive at 10:30. Also, we have early voting going on right now. Everything is going well with that. Great to see everyone coming out to do their civic duty. It has been 718 voters so far over the last 3 days. And the remaining days that are left, we have tomorrow is our late evening, so from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Then Friday, October 30th, from 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Saturday will be October 31st, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. And of course, Election Day is Tuesday, November 3rd. Under number 1, the October 14th, we did come in on October 14th, and we actually swore in 2 EMA volunteers. They will be put into the video tonight. Okay. Repeat after me. Insert your name after I. Would you raise your right hand? I
Kaylee Marquez,
Timothy Pelkey,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
I will support and defend
and bear true faith
and bear true faith
and allegiance to the Constitution
and allegiance to the
allegiance to
Constitution
the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of Illinois
of the State of Illinois
and the territory,
and the territory,
institutions,
institutions,
and facilities thereof,
and facilities thereof,
both public and private,
both public and private,
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
and I will take
and I will take
this obligation freely
this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well
and that I will well
and faithfully discharge
and faithfully discharge
the duties
the duties
upon which I am about to enter,
upon which I am about to enter,
and that I do further swear
and I do solemnly swear
that I do not advocate,
that I do not advocate,
nor
nor
am I,
am I,
nor have I been
nor have I been
a member of any political party
a member of any political party
or organization
or organization
that advocates
that advocates
to overthrow the government
to overthrow the government
of the United States
of the United States
or this state
or this state
by force or violence,
by force or violence,
and that I am not advocate
and that I am not an advocate
nor become a member
nor become a member
of any political party
of any political party
or organization
or organization
that advocates
that advocates
the overthrow
the overthrow
of the government
of the government
of the United States
of the United States
or the state
or the state
by force or violence.
by force or violence.
Congratulations.
I feel like that was a test.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kaylee. Thank you for your service.
And if you can sign this for me, Haley, this is yours. Sign here.
That's a mouthful.
Oh my goodness, yes.
That we didn't memorize.
Yeah, this is for you. You can sign here on the line.
Oh, thank you.
You might want to look at them, see if
Okay.
they
Okay. And then I'll sign these. These will be your copies, and then if you guys can sign one more, we'll have that for in
Okay,
our
great.
copy.
And this, you can see why I gave you why we have go bags, because it'll greatly grow.
Right, okay, cool.
More to add that to that. And then
Thank you.
the next training, we'll have your badges ready for entry into the building.
Okay,
So we'll be good to go.
Okay.
great. All right,
So this is yours,
okay, thank you.
and this is yours. This is your copy to keep, and I'm going to have you sign other copies up
Okay.
front.
Mm-hmm. You might as well stay there too.
Go right to this side, Denise will come around. Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Board. Tonight, we swear in John Fletcher. He is a lieutenant colonel with the Civil Air Patrol, so we welcome him to our organization. He becomes our 14th active member of the Emergency Management Program.
Insert your name, I, repeat after me. I
John Fletcher,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
I will support and defend
and bear with true faith and bear with true faith
and bear with true faith
and alliance
and alliance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois
and the territory,
and the territory,
institutions,
institutions,
and facilities thereof,
and the facilities thereof,
both public and private,
both public and private,
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic.
that I take this obligation freely
I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservations
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion.
and that I will well and faithfully
I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
upon which I am about to enter,
upon which I am about to enter.
and I do further swear
I do further swear
that I do not advocate,
I do not advocate,
nor am I,
nor am I,
nor have I been
nor have I been
a member
a member
of any political party
of any political party
or organization
or organization
that advocates
that advocates
the overthrow
the overthrow
of the government of the United
of
States
the government of the United States
or the state by force
or the state by force
or violence,
or violence,
and that during such time
and that during such time
I am affiliated
I am affiliated
with the Village of Monee
with the Village of Monee
EMA organization,
EMA organization.
I will not advocate
I will not advocate
nor become
nor become
a member of any political party
a member of any political party
or
or
organization
organization
that advocates
that advocates
the overthrow of the government
the overthrow of the government
of the United
of the
States
United States
or of this state
or the state
by violence or
by
force.
violence or force.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. Welcome.
And if you can sign this for me, please. You're welcome.
Now I'd like to call for Ron Lindstrom. Ron is going to fill a vacancy on P and Z. Greg Detlef moved out of the community, so he will be filling the remainder of his term.
You raise your right hand and repeat after me. Enter your name after I. I,
Ronald Lindstrom,
having duly appointed
having duly appointed
to the Planning and Zoning Commission
to the Planning and Zoning
for the
Commission
Village of Monee,
for the Village of Monee,
County of Will,
County of Will,
State of Illinois,
State of Illinois.
aforesaid,
That's it again.
after said,
Do
solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge my duties
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ron. Okay, we'll move on to, I'm going to skip the roundtable discussion because we have Judy Ogala from Will County here. And we'll move on to the officials' report. Public Works, Trustee Horn.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We have a lot happening in our fair village. First of all, down on the east end of Main Street, they are putting in, our Main Street water project is going on full force. They did some pressure testing, I believe, the last few days. There's some lab work that is not back yet, but we hope to get that back tomorrow, at which time the service lines will begin being switched over. Probably that will start next week. Also, on our well 5, we're waiting to be approved by the state of Illinois. The well is completed. We're just waiting for approval so we can go online with that. We have street sweeping going on, collecting leaves. Just reminder, don't sweep leaves into the roadway because we do not want them to clog the gutters and the sewers. I asked our superintendent of public works about our public works vehicles, and I'm very sad to report that we are putting plows on all our trucks already. I'm not ready for that. I suspect many of you are not as well, but our public works is ready because if you remember, I believe it was last year on Halloween, I think we got a few inches of snow, so we're ready for any contingency. I'm just sad about that. Just a reminder, when our vehicles plow, this would be a good time to make sure your mailboxes are secure and they're not loose, because sometimes plows, the snow piles up and it can dislodge mailboxes. So be aware of that. Just take the time to make sure it's secure. Now, regarding yard waste, yard waste recycling ends in November, towards the end of November, so it's the last time for, I would imagine, about 4 months that we'll be having yard waste recycling. So gather that up and be ready for that. So that's all I have for tonight. End of report. Thank you.
Move on to Parks and Recs, trustee Wilson.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Trick or Truck drive-through is this Friday, 5 to 7 p.m. Please use the park entrance on the west side of the Parks and Rec building. And that way they can immediately attend to you. It's going to be a drive-through type deal, in and out. We're going to try to keep it moving as much as possible. So this is a drive-through event that we are Diana's being very creative and trying to salvage what we have of this year during the pandemic. So this was one of those things, that she came up with that was outside the box, because ordinarily, we would have used the parking lot and we would have had been able to use that, and without the parameters or the restraints of social distancing, we would have been a little more social. So, but still, we're going to make the best of it. So hot dogs will be served for the first, while supplies last. There'll be approximately about 100 hot dogs given away. And we ask that you wear your mask and utilize social distancing during this event. Trick-or-treating, as you know, is this Saturday. It's going to be from 3 to 7. So please also follow all COVID guidelines, recommendations by the state, by the government, local government also, which is going to be the COVID mask, along with, if it's a Halloween costume mask, social distancing, hand sanitizer, and not eating any candy until it's inspected as usual once you get back home. The village newsletter is out. You should have received it. If not, be looking for it in the mailbox. It's also got up-and-coming events that we're going to be trying to implement, restraints permitting, what's going on. A lot's going on, actually. We don't want to give it all away yet, but you'll take a look. You can also look on the website where the newsletter will be posted also on Facebook, the village's website or Facebook page, and the website for updates that we're going to be posting and what's going on. And there's a lot of useful information. You'll be surprised at how much information's on there when you take a look. So I recommend that everyone take a look at that. End of report, Mayor.
Thank you, Michael. We'll move on to trustee Blue, Finance.
Thank you, Mayor. We've got a lot to share this evening. On finance, the village treasurer's report was published in the Southtown newspaper on October 23rd, and it will be filed with the Will County Clerk's office this week. We also, on October 23rd, Moody's Investor Services released its annual comments on the village, and it was very positive on Monee. It said the village of Monee has a high quality credit position, AA3. The financial position of the village is robust and is a strength with respect to the assigned rating. And so that's a great place to be in, especially because we've had a really difficult year, and we're gonna feel the consequences of that financially at some point also. As you may know, the Finance Committee met twice to discuss the levy. The second meeting was on Monday of this week. Darrell, our financial director, I'm sorry, my mask, every time I speak, my mask slips down. Darrell shared a graph with us, and basically he showed us a line of fixed expenses, fixed revenue, and our sales tax. And the line of fixed expenses and fixed revenue were gradually going apart. And that's partly because we haven't raised the levy for the last 2 years, which obviously we're very happy with, but this is again the consequence of that. And then you add in the sales tax in that, and while if we go back to 2017, the sales tax was below where our fixed revenue is. Now, of course, it's above our fixed revenue and our fixed expenses, which is a very healthy place to be. But what we don't want to do is use that sales tax for recurring costs, because we don't know from month to month how much is coming in. And so we would use that for one-off projects or things like the roads program and stuff like that. if that doesn't come from another account. So it is steady, it's healthy in terms of the sales tax, but really and truly, we should have raised the levy this year. Because if that sales tax goes away, we'll be in trouble. We will be in trouble. We'll need to go back and do what we did in the beginning, Mayor, if you remember, and start cutting the budget. However, because it is a really hard time, everyone is being hit with COVID in the village in some form or another. And so after a lengthy discussion on our second committee meeting, the consensus was to recommend to the village board not to raise the levy, which will be the third year in a row, if the board passes that, third year in a row that we haven't raised that. Understanding, though, that there's a very good chance we may have to raise it next year. And I know we'll all forget this in 2 months' time, but we just need to be aware of that if COVID truly hits our sales tax, if the discussion that's being had now about Amazon, where they're currently giving a sales tax at where the product is distributed, if that changes and they align the sales tax with where the product ends up at, then we will lose a great deal of money there. So that's kind of being discussed right now. We don't know where it's going, but that's an example of how our the sales tax could fluctuate in a big way. So there was a consensus, it was unanimous, and I would like to, at this time, make a motion to draw up the necessary paperwork, Mayor, to not raise the levy this year.
I'll second.
Second that? Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Horn.
Yes.
Trustee Wilson.
Yes.
Trustee Udris.
Yes.
Trustee Blue.
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Yes. Thank you, Mayor. There's one other thing. The Finance Committee also met to discuss the software system that was recommended by our Finance Department. In fact, it's more than an accounting system. It's an enterprise system, so it will affect and touch every single department in the village. The last time we purchased an accounting system was 2002, and we're still using it, and it's a DOS system. If anyone knows anything about computers, it's DOS. That means it's really, really, really old. And so in addition to that accounting system, we've got multiple smaller systems all over the village. Think of, when we pay a bill, we pay a water bill, when we book a program, when we have a project that is like the roads program, someone has to track that project all the way through the accounting software, and if the software isn't up to par, then you're double checking it all the time. I was just talking to Nob today about the Treasurer's report, and he was telling me that at one point the numbers just changed right in front of his eyes, and obviously for a treasurer that's got to be really scary. And I know in the budget we've had situations where we've talked about the budget, we know what the number is, and we come back the next week and it's changed for whatever reason. So this will fix all of that. It's not cheap, as you can imagine. I think the system itself is about $150,000. This is a system that is currently used by several of our local municipalities, Richmond Park, Park Forest, and I'm sure others I've forgotten. They also, the accounting team and administration looked at many other systems, and this is the one that they all agreed was the one they felt would best suit our village. And this is the one that they got feedback on from all the other municipalities. Without exception, it came back with flying colors. And our auditors also, even though they can't recommend something, they did approve of us using that one because they've had a good experience with it too. So then they came in and did a 2-day demonstration to the administration talking about what it can and can't do. And that's when they came up with the recommendation that this was the system they wanted. So we did ask Darrell if he would invite the company in to the next board meeting to give a short presentation so everyone can see it for themselves. On top of the software, there's going to be training and all the other add-ons that you get with any system like that. We're saying that could be up to another $100,000. We don't know, but that's the figure that we've put out there. It could be a lot less. And the annual maintenance is $12,500. Currently, we pay $7,500 for our 18-year-old DOS system. In terms of customer service also, this company are renowned for their customer service. They have promised that their customer service, they will get back to someone who's got a technical difficulty within 15 minutes. And in fact, currently they're getting back to them 24/7. They're getting back to them within 8 minutes. So customer service is outstanding. And the training will be part of the numbers I've thrown out there. And the training will be as long as we need it to be. So everybody learns at a different pace. And so it will be as long as we need it to be for the individuals who are going to be learning our system. The consensus from the board was to recommend to the board to move forward with it. And so we'd like to put it on the agenda for next time and also invite BSNA to come in and give us a presentation of that. End of report, Mayor.
Thank you, Janet. We'll move on to economic development. Trustee Razak, who is not here. So we'll move on to building services. Trustee Uders.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A couple things. First off, business owners, you can expect to see your license renewals coming soon. Also a reminder not to forget that you need to schedule inspections with the Building Services Department as well. Last week, Building Services Committee met. The topic that we were discussing was the garbage can ordinance. And one of the things that came out of the discussion was that a lot of residents feel like the code enforcement officers are out there just trying to write tickets to generate money on the garbage cans, and this really is not the case. The purpose of the ordinance really is for the beautification of our village. The code enforcement officers that are out there working are not out there to try to get people in trouble for having their garbage cans out there. They're trying to work with residents to come up with solutions for their garbage cans so that they are not visible to the public from the curb. So with that, what we would like to start doing is the code compliance officers are going to be out again. They're going to be out looking at garbage cans, but now we want to let people know the areas that they're going to concentrate in. So you can look for them. Feel free to have conversations with them, ask questions, ask for suggestions. That's what they're there for. So code compliance officers will be out seeking compliance with regards to Ordinance 1908. This is the ordinance that states that all garbage, rubbish, or recycling containers shall be stored behind privacy fences or out of view from the public. The areas of focus for the next few weeks are going to be Country Meadows subdivision and the Highlands. So if you do receive a notice from them, mostly that means that they tried to knock on your door and nobody answered, so they left a warning notice on your door. Any questions, if you'd like to have a conversation, please, there's a phone number on there, give them a call. They'd be happy to come by and talk to you on the phone to try to help you with that issue. Also, a reminder that home resale in town does require an inspection for occupancy. These right now, because of all of the COVID that is going on, are being completed virtually, for the safety of both the residents and the staff out doing the inspection. So those do continue, but just changing it a little bit. And again, any questions or any help that you need from the Building Services Department, please give them a call at 708-534-8303, or you can email them at buildingservices@thevillageofmonee.org. End of report.
Thank you, Scott. Move on to public safety. Trustee Gonzalez.
No report tonight.
Okay. Attorney's report. Larry?
Thank you, Mayor. I've got one item for the board's consideration. We received a request from Bailey Ridge 4 LLC. That's the new building in Ridgeland. They're selling that building to Bailey Ridge 4 HW, a Delaware corporation. Basically, what they're asking us to do tonight is, they're asking us to approve the assignment of a note from Bailey Ridge 4 to Bailey Ridge 4W. Doesn't affect us whatsoever. All it does will affect the payment. Next year, we'll send a check to. No payment's been made so far to date. They are looking to close, I want to say, early November. So I told Mr. Burke I'll have it on the agenda. There's no repercussions from the village. All we're doing is, we've done it before. The note will now be, the money from the note will be sent to a new owner. And both parties will sign off. And we need, with the board's permission, a motion authorizing the mayor and the village clerk to execute the assignment of the note.
Could I have a motion on that, please?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Any discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Trustee Wilson?
Yes.
Trustee Yudris?
Yes.
Trustee Blue?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Okay.
Mayor, if I may, one other thing with this, they're asking us to do what they call an Stoppal Letter. What an Stoppal Letter is basically saying, we haven't done anything to adversely affect the TIF over there, which we haven't, the TIF's in effect. We haven't passed any ordinances to, let's say, suspend the TIF, which we have not. That's TIF number 6. That's only, 3 or 4 years old. They're asking us to sign off on that. I have no issue with it from a legal standpoint. I did indicate to the new owner, though, I want to just indicate that as of today's date, no payment's been made. That's as far as we'll go. And also indicate that the TIF's still in existence and that it's in full force and effect. They want to rely upon that. And, that's standard procedure. So need a motion authorizing the mayor and the village clerk to execute the same.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Wilson?
Yes.
Trustee Yudris?
Yes.
Trustee Blue?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
That's all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mary. Okay, we'll move to old business. And if you recall, we discussed about the liquor depot and a Class C liquor license he'd like to have. And I ask you to think about it for a while. Could I have a motion on that, please, so we can make a discussion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second. Mayor.
Okay? Is there any discussion on it?
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify a little bit what some folks, when we delayed the vote, it was because that was the first time we'd seen it on the agenda. And normally, we'll see it twice on the agenda, just like how I explained software. It's to give people something to think about, review, do a little research, maybe go down and see the business owner, and then come back to vote the second time. So that's why the vote was pushed back another week. That's the only reason it was pushed back, because we just needed more time to review it. Thank you, ma'am.
Any other discussion on the question? So the motion and the second was in favor, or I assume?
Yes, in
Is that a
favor.
bad word?
Yes.
It is in favor, okay.
To approve.
To approve.
Yes. So if there's no more discussion, roll call, please.
Trustee Yudris?
Yes.
Trustee Blue?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Horn?
No.
Trustee Wilson?
Yes.
Thank you, board. We'll move on to new business, the Wilkins Property LLC grant of easements.
Basically, if the board recalls, we're in contract discussions with, this is Industrial Drive. And what we're trying to do, we are under contract for the one parcel. Mr. Wilkins now is giving us the easement, or granting us the easement, the right-of-way, and a recapture fee agreement. So in essence, what we're doing, we can put the water main, sewer main down Industrial Drive. It's going right down the list. So we got one done. Now he's next in line. He signed off on it, and we're asking the mayor to execute the easement agreements and any ancillary documentation pertaining to the installation of the water main.
Do I have a motion on that, please?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Blue?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Wilson?
Yes.
Trustee Yudris?
Yes.
Okay, I want to apologize to you, Judy. I'm going to call you up now. This is not about the round table, this is about the CARES Act.
Good evening, everybody. No apology needed, that was fine. So back earlier this year, we had many conversations at the county about federal dollars that were coming to the county for distribution. And one of them was for the small business grant. So $24 million is allocated for small businesses to apply for to help with expenses due to COVID. From that process, we currently had 1,422 businesses apply. To apply in phase one, they had to have not more than 25 employees and have 2.5 million or less in gross revenue. So of the 1,422, 701 have been approved. 494 have been approved, have been notified that they're going to be paid, and 303 have already received payment. 297 were disqualified. A lot of them were disqualified because they had received some other funding that caused them not to be able to get this. Some of them had 26 employees. They thought, oh, we'll apply. Well, they had to have 25 or less. So various reasons like that. And then there are 424 that are pending. So what happened was we ended up allocating a total of 15 million was estimated for round one, leaving 9 million afterwards. So we had a conversation at the county to say, well, what should we do? And we decided to go ahead and open it because we looked at what were the businesses that were not qualified. And a lot of them were not qualified because they had more than 25 employees and obviously more than 2.5 million in gross sales. And you could still be a small business depending on the type of business that you have. Your gross revenue could be very high, but like one of the business people were somebody who sells turf supply products. So those are all kinds of fertilizers and things that go on golf courses. They cost a lot. So gross revenue is really high, though net would be very low. And that particular business only had less than 10 employees. So we looked at that and we decided that it made sense to go ahead and open it up to a broader range of businesses. And so that began on Monday, October 19th, and that will be accepting applications through November 16th. So as of last week's, almost every week we have a CARES Act meeting. And as of last week, we already had received 123 applications. So these were businesses that knew, okay, good, I didn't qualify the first time, so now they're coming back the second time. So there is a new flyer that is circulating. I will get that to you guys. I don't have it to send tonight. But everybody who's interested in it can go to www.willcountyillinois, all spelled out, willcountyillinois.com/COVID biz grant. But all you have to do is go to willcountyillinois.com. There's a little icon there that you can click on, gives you a drop down, and you can go further into the menu there. What happened was also on the 23rd, they had a webinar, which was recorded. So then that allows anybody at any time to go in and look at the webinar. So it helps explain the whole process to you. And then if you need further assistance, you can go ahead and register yourself and say the type of business you are, what you're looking for. An email will be sent to you, and then somebody from the Bronner Group, which is the consulting company the county hired to do this, they will contact you. And from what I've heard, everybody's pretty pleased with them. I know I'm very pleased with the Bronner Group. The information they give is really good. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of information as far as local businesses. So local governments were also entitled to this, not just small businesses. And local governments, as of just last week, that have not received, not have filed an application for County Board District 1, which would be, of course, University Park, Monee, Peatone, Beecher, and Crete area, and all the areas in between. In County Board District 1, we had the Crete Rural Park District and Peatone Park District did not apply for any funding, as well as Peatone Public Library, Steger South Chicago Heights Public Library, University Park Public Library, Park Forest Public Library. I mention those because they're split. And so what I've done is I have reached out to all these different groups once I realized, a month and a half ago when they gave us the list who had not put in, and talk with them. And so some of them just didn't have any expenses or very minimal expenses, so that's why most of them have not. I'm not sure if anyone else has done that. As far as townships, and townships haven't all applied because some of the townships are so small. So Creed Township has not applied, Creed Township Road District did not apply. Peatone Township has not applied, Washington Township, Will Township. So Monee Township must have applied, but Monee Township is a bigger township and they do more things requiring some support. So I think everything is going along really well as far as this goes. I anticipate a lot more people to be doing this. A friend of mine and I did a random little video just telling everybody about what's going on. We look forward, we're going to be doing that again to get people, it was kind of a role play because some people weren't sure what to do. So I said, if you have a business and you did carry out all the time, of course most businesses did. Well, you usually spent, say, $150 on, your containers, just a random number. But now, because you're required to be shut down, you're spending $500. So that difference is available for COVID. So just explaining those different types of things, people didn't realize, I could do that because, they always ordered carry-out containers. So that was something that they did, and it's been pretty helpful. And some people were just not sure how to do it, so just reaching out a little bit more. And we've asked also the consulting company to reach out a bit more because some people are, this is my business, I'm proud to be a business owner, and I don't really want to accept funds, except for the fact, and I explained it, you are in a situation that you are not because of your own fault, but because the government requested that you shut down due to, the coronavirus. So that kind of made people feel more at ease. So I look forward to that happening. And there's a lot more information here. I'm not going to take up any more time. But if you guys have any other questions, or if anyone that watches this has questions, they can go ahead and contact me. My email is jogala@willcountyillinois, all spelled out, .com. You can email me, and then I will just send you on to the Bronner Group because they have all the answers. So if you have any questions, I would answer them.
I do have one. So the first and second round of the CARES Act, it's different to the business interruption grant, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's two different grants. There have been a lot of different grant programs for businesses, and one of the things I didn't mention either was schools. So schools had received funding for various different things for the at home, teaching from at home, and so my school district, for instance, Peatone, they went out and had to buy all this stuff, and they ended up being $200,000 short of money from the grant they had gotten for it. Well, they were able to apply to the CARES Act grant and get some money there. We also have given grants to not-for-profits. So not-for-profits, private schools, and they've received funding, and they've been great. They've actually called each individual board member and thanked us for doing this because we were given a pot of money from the federal government, and then we were able to distribute it how we wanted to break it up. So we got calls and saying how grateful they are. They usually don't get that kind of funding. Churches were also, we wanted to make sure churches did get some people did push back on that. And again, it's nobody's fault that this happened, and we have to make sure that we can help everybody out. So we did do a lot of different things, and I think this is one committee that works really well. It isn't it's definitely bipartisan. Everybody works really well together. And the biggest thing is that these funds have to be paid back, have to be distributed before the end of the year. If they're not distributed before the end of the year, then whatever is remaining, the county has to return to the federal government. Anyone else? No?
The only comment I want to make, Judy, I just want to compliment the county because that's a tremendous undertaking. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I can't imagine all these new ones coming in all the time and then rejection, then they come back. Oh, my God, it's got to be, not only are you trying to service all of them, but that's almost,
That's why we had to hire the consulting company, and we interviewed a group of them and ended up choosing the Bronner Group, and they've done a phenomenal job, so thank you.
Okay,
Thank you, Judy.
so
Thank
much.
you.
Okay, we'll move on to open to the public, non-agenda items. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Anybody out there want to?
I got a few things. Evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Paul Sheets. I'm owner of Sheets Chiropractic and Labis Latte and Vino here in town. Really, my questions kind of have more or less to do with, there's always two sides of the story, okay? And from previous board meetings, and even we mentioned tonight a little bit, there's been talk about the village buying up property in town. And I'm kind of wondering, like, why and what's going on there. And in talks with the other businesses, they kind of are in the feeling like, why should they be competing against the village for property if they wanted to expand their business? And I totally agree with them. Now, there may be some legitimate, reasons why we are buying that property up, but I think people want to know why. And where can we find that information? How do we know when the village is doing it before it's actually being done? And I think these are valid, questions that should be answered and available to the public before the village actually does buy these properties. Because some of these properties do affect others. I was just talking to a friend who owns a business in town. I'm not going to name names, but, he wants to expand his business. However, he's got word that the village is actually trying to buy the same piece of property he's trying to buy. That's not right. I mean, if we're trying to buy a piece of property, maybe to put up a park or to, I know the village had bought the property actually right by my building to develop that. I agree with some of it, not all of it, as far as that goes, but, those questions need to be answered because some people just aren't really happy about it. And then with regards to that, Trustee Blue, you just talked a little bit earlier about financing. And we may be concerned that because of COVID, we may have some finance issues. We're maybe worried because some things may change with sales tax with Amazon. If we're worried about those things, again, why is the village buying property? I don't think as a municipality we are a real estate agent. We're a realtor, we're a developer. That's not the job of the village to be doing that, and especially when they're competing against other businesses. I'd just like to know where we can get that information so we know where that is. Thank you.
Go ahead, Janet.
The easiest way to get information is to call and ask, is to ask one of the trustees. If you weren't at the meeting when we voted on buying anything, which that's what we do, we talk about it, we vote on it. Nothing is done in secret. It's all done in a board meeting. So if there's something you need to know, rather than assume or guess, then ask the village. And if you, as always, as you know, Paul, if you don't get satisfaction from the village administration, speak to the mayor or one of the trustees, because we will be happy to get that information for you. With regards to that's
Yeah.
I just want to say that because this has come up probably, I'd like to say, I don't know, 6 or 7 times. And we all make ourselves available to the public. So the easiest thing is to just ask.
Yeah. And believe me, as far as me, talking there, I wasn't insinuating anything or saying something was done in secret. And believe me, I mean, you trustees, you 5 here have believed me, you've heard from me. So I know that you guys are available to discuss, and I would encourage anyone, if they do have questions or concerns, please reach out to your trustees, because they do call you back, they do respond to you. You may not like their answers, but they will respond to you. But that's just something that again, I've spoken with other business owners, and they're really concerned about some of this stuff that's going on. Right or wrong, I don't know, but that's where basically what we're trying to find out of why they're buying it and what's going on.
I'd just like to say that we purchased property with the village in mind. It's for the village.
Well, I understand.
Sometimes when you're purchasing something and there's someone that owns it, they don't want it publicly spoken about. And that's a true fact, especially a business coming in. until the papers are signed, that's when we're in executive session, that's the kind of things we talk about. And once it's completed and we got some dotted lines, we bring it out in public and make a motion and do our thing. So our hands are tied to a point on that kind of thing, okay?
Mayor
I mean, we want to eventually move the Department of Public Works. We purchased a building about, oh my God, David, how many years ago did we buy that building?
7 years ago.
How many?
6 or 7 years ago.
6 or 7 years ago, and already that building is too small. He can't put all his equipment in it. Because we're growing, we're trying to service the community better, we buy more equipment. Well, he's literally we're using that building for storage right now because this building is too small. Well, we're purchasing another piece of property that between you and me and the wall, may I say, at a rock bottom price. And that was that one easement we had tonight. Am I correct, Larry?
There's no money.
And it's not called, that's to put the water main in and stuff, which is gonna improve the value of the other properties in the area. And we have a potential, and this is what I shouldn't say. We have a potential buyer for the building that we purchased 6 or 7 years ago. So all the things we do, all I'm saying is for the good of the village. Now, when we can come out and talk about it, we will. We're not trying to be secretive, okay?
Well, Mayor, with all due respect, though, when you just said that, you do these things in executive session, and then you come out and vote on it then afterwards, that's what we're talking about. Janet Blue just said you don't do things in secret. And when you go behind a closed door and talk about something, that's in secret. And when you said that a business owner
If I may, Dr.
doesn't want
Sheets,
to talk about something in public.
if I may, we never do that. That's an insinuation that we're doing something in there illegally. No, just the opposite. The board listens to both myself and Mr. Wallace, but there's no final decision made in there. Absolutely not. And the one thing is, you do not want to negotiate in public with a buyer or seller. Because of this, now we're still not in contract with another buyer. The buyer or the seller is going up in price. And that's the exact reason we go in executive session. And I sign off when we buy something for public purposes. That's my responsibility, no one else's. But we do not go in there and make a decision. No, there's discussions made, discussions come out here, but there's no decision made in there as a final decision. And if you want to, you have the right to ask for those executive session minutes. There's no way that we ever did that. I know that was insinuated a couple weeks ago. That's wrong. We go in there, we talk about the situation, we talk about the price. I get an appraisal every time we purchase property. So someone can't come up and say, boy, you guys paid too much for that. Or you guys are not doing the right thing. No, we're covered. And that's wrong to insinuate we're doing that. That's absolutely wrong.
Well, I didn't insinuate it.
I think you did.
He said he went in there and talked in secret about it without
No,
people knowing
what-
about it.
what the
Okay,
mayor
he said
meant,
he
we go in
talked about it
executive
without
session.
people knowing about it.
And I don't want to be
the other people
argumentative,
don't
but
wanna
that's
talk
why we
about
go
it.
in there.
That's fine, but
But
other
prices
people
just went
wanna
up
know
on a
what's
deal
going
we're
on.
trying to do because of this.
Well, other people want to know. That's
They're
all
not
I'm
entitled to know until the board makes that decision.
asking. And again, that was my point. People want to know before the board makes the decision.
Well, they can come to, sir, every time we pass an ordinance, it's in the ordinance why we're doing that. But you don't do it in executive session.
Okay, but you still, all I said was people want to know before you're doing it.
It's on the agenda, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else for open to the public?
I have just a couple of announcements to make. On a lighter note, Monee Women's Club vendor fair this year. We're going ahead with the Monee Women's Club vendor fair and business showcase, but we've changed it up a little bit and pivoted, as the cliche word is this year, and making it all virtual. We're still on the lookout for any vendors that want to be part of it. It's going to run a whole week, so the businesses will be highlighted and everything. It's a $10 table fee to be a part of it. So if you would like to advertise for a week for Monee Women's Club, you can go to our Facebook page and look for it there to get the Google Doc to enter into it. We also have coming up very shortly, everybody loves our mums and our spring flowers. So this year we're also going to do a poinsettia sale. So you know how huge our mums are. Just wait till you see these poinsettias available too. And the last thing is our scholarship. And we still have 2 scholarships available. for Monee 2020 graduate, female graduates. They can be homeschooled, public schooled, or just have to have a 60449 zip code. And again, that form is available on the Monee Women's Club Facebook page as well. That's it.
Well, if not, we have no executive session. Could I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Or second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Wilson?
Yes.
Trustee Udris?
Yes.
Trustee Blue? Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Thank you all for coming.